How are you doing today?
I'm great, Jonathan. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Rushia, I appreciate you so much. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the studio. You are here for what I hope to be a good conversation to explore who are you. So the podcast is called Who Are You Again? And what my goal is to explore the individual of who I'm talking to, get to know them on a personal level, professional level, get the backstory, the X-Men origin story, and just, have a normal conversation about normal things that are happening in this crazy world. I'm going to ask you two questions. The first question I'm going to ask you is, how are you doing?
I am great. A little tired.
Okay.
A little drained from all the stuff going on, but I'm doing well.
Awesome. And I have a very vague question to ask you, and you can answer this however you want.
Okay.
Who are you?
Who am I?
Mm-hmm.
I am a change agent.
Okay.
I am a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I am a mother. I am a social butterfly.
Okay.
I am an activist.
All right.
I am a fix-it type of person.
Okay.
And I am just completely loving the space that I'm in as far as the work that I do.
Awesome. Okay. That's a lot. So when you say fix it, is it like fix problems? Is it like fix people, or is it a combination of both?
Yeah, I got this. That's my gift and my curse.
Okay, I was about to say there's a curse that goes with that.
I know.
Okay.
I'm trying to keep it under tabs though, because when I see people have issues, I want to help. I want to fix.
Gotcha. You got to make sure that those fix-its come with invoices.
I'm learning that.
Listen,
because that has not always been my strong suit.
Yeah, when they don't come with invoices, it's also hard to actually do your job because there's nothing attached to it. And like, obviously we're, depending on what we're talking about, that can get difficult. But like when there's nothing connected to it, it's like you can get a lot of pushback from the help that was asked from the person.
And it's not always asked.
Yeah.
Like,
so sometimes you just jump in. It's like, I see the problem.
Yes, let me show you how to fix this.
Oh,
so yeah.
Man. Okay.
I'm working on that though.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay. Got you. But what do you think your batting average is in terms of fixing?
Oh no, I'm a star.
Oh, okay.
When people actually, so there's an issue of when you want to help people and they actually want the help.
That's where the invoice part came in. It's hard.
I'm a star.
Okay.
But there are sometimes people just like talking about their problems and don't really want to fix them.
Okay.
That part I don't do with.
I don't
do that well. Because
Okay.
I'm like, you wasting. I don't want to hear the same issue. After 2 times, what we doing?
What we're doing.
You're
Let's
not
do
gonna
it.
keep telling me the same.
We
problem.
can cry about it on like Wednesday, but by like
Friday, Saturday, it's time
we
to go.
gotta start getting some action going.
We're not having the same conversation.
Okay, cool.
So that's my.
Okay.
That's where I kind of
I like that.
Get wrapped up in it.
Okay.
And then I drop you quick after that. After 2 more conversations, it's a wrap.
We're done.
We're not doing this anymore.
Then we could just go to brunch and be the friends that we were before without.
Let's just go have a drink and everything will work itself out.
I like it. Awesome. So let's go back, because I'm sure you didn't start this life off fixing things. You probably had some fixers around you. Tell me a little bit about like just life growing up. Tell me about your story. Where you from? How did we get here?
Well, I am a Southern girl in the truest form. Even though I was born in the Bronx in New York, I was raised in Charleston, South Carolina.
How long did you live in New York?
3 years. 3 and some change.
Gotcha.
And then when my parents got pregnant with my brother, we moved to South Carolina.
Okay. What part of South Carolina?
Charleston.
Okay.
So we were there. So mom and dad met in New York, got married. Me, then my brother come along, we get down to South Carolina, back to Charleston. So I'm the oldest of 3 siblings.
Okay.
I have always been, I guess, the fixer, because now I'm managing my little sister and my little brother.
Okay, managing. What's going, like, are you like
initially,
rappers?
not until managing I'm the oldest sister.
Okay, got you.
Mom and dad work. So I'm the one that's in the house telling people what to do.
Okay, got you, okay.
But no, grew up in South Carolina in Charleston, had my 2 siblings, just primarily just family, and doing that kind of stuff, really close to my immediate family that was around in the area. Didn't get introduced to sports until I was a sophomore in high school. So everything was just literally family. We would spend my summers in Mississippi with my mom's side of the family, riding horses, chasing snakes, climbing trees. I was a country girl, being barefoot.
Yeah.
So all that stuff.
So I'm aware that, what was it, your sophomore year that
sophomore year.
Started playing basketball? So when did your growth spurt happen?
I've always been tall.
Okay.
But I wasn't interested in sports.
So let's say ninth grade, but how tall were you?
Ninth grade, I was probably about 6 feet.
So what were you doing? What were your hobbies?
Just being cute.
You were just out here living life?
Didn't want to mess up my hair or my
chasing squirrels,
nails.
being 6 feet tall?
Absolutely. Chasing squirrels. Fighting boys.
Were you, I'm sure people came to you and was like,
all
hey.
the time.
Okay.
All the time. I just didn't want to.
So I know you weren't just sitting around being especially in I won't say that Charleston's a small town, but a smaller town. It's yo, I need you.
No,
I need you on my team.
people were reaching out to me all the time.
Okay.
I just wasn't interested.
Okay. So
and at that time, I didn't have to. It didn't. Yeah. Nobody was making me.
Got you. So what was what made you say, all right, I'm gonna do this?
When I was a freshman in high school, came home. Mama told me and my sister and brother that my dad had cancer. So we're all trying to figure out who has to pitch in and do what around the house. So we're doing all this stuff. I'm literally the woman in the house now because now Mama's working nonstop to pay bills and stuff. But within 6 months, my dad passed away. Complete spiral because I was daddy's little girl. I was, all things. I was a spoiled.
I believe it.
So when it happened, I completely went into a terrible space. Depression, suicidal, just not feeling good about myself and making horrible decisions.
Okay.
So getting in trouble, hanging around people I wasn't supposed to be hanging around, doing lots of things I wasn't supposed to be doing.
Okay.
So
and it's a safe space, so feel free to tell as much as you'd like to tell.
It was a lot. So it was, it was just a terrible space for me. And my mom, like I said, she was working, so she would go away. Dad passed away in April. Okay. So that summer was from hell. My poor mama, and she was working out of town. Yeah. So she would get up on Monday mornings, drive to Columbia, South Carolina, which is an hour, a little more than an hour away, and then come back Friday morning. So from Monday to Thursday,
you were just out
of control. Literally, I had a party every Monday night.
Okay, you had a party, so at the house?
Yeah.
Oh, you were wild.
Yeah.
I was always afraid to have house parties because I knew I had snitching neighbors.
Listen.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me more.
We all have them. Okay. So I would have the parties, but I was smart. I was like, don't park at my house.
Okay.
Park down the street.
Around the corner, something like that.
Don't park at my house. So everybody would park and then walk to the house.
Okay.
And I wouldn't let everybody in the house because I had some shady kind of friends. So
you were wise enough to know.
I had a fence though. We had a wood fence in the backyard, so we could be in the yard.
You party in the backyard.
Yeah.
You were everywhere.
I was
front yard,
in the
backyard,
house. No,
in the
not
house.
the front yard. Not the front yard.
Of
in
course,
the house
that's what
or in the backyard.
Okay.
And so we would have the parties or whatever. There were some friends that smoked and did whatever. They had to be outside.
Yep.
Drinks and stuff were on the inside.
Okay.
Yes, ninth grade.
A little bar situation.
I was tall, had a fake ID, so whatever. So we had our stuff.
What were you drinking at this time? Because ninth grade drinks are we're talking Boone's Farm. That's MD 2020, Cisco.
Cisco,
yeah,
that's exactly
you're not getting good stuff.
Bud Light.
Yeah.
What's this? Slits malt liquor, bull, drinking bulls. It was all foolishness.
Okay,
it was all
never
terrible.
Good because the places that would accept fake IDs / not look would always only have that shady stuff.
Yep. So we would do that, have the parties on Monday nights, but that gave me until Thursday to clean up and get the house back in order. Because if I would have waited till Wednesday or Thursday, I'm in trouble. But so we would do it. We called it Meeting of the Minds. Okay. On Mondays. So I would have my parties. We would have the parties and do that. But this is in the midst of my spiral. So activity increased, the stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing. Okay. And I think what led to me saying I got to really do something different is, I skipped a part. So I was the neighborhood pharmaceuticals girlfriend, the guy, neighborhood pharmacist.
So literally the child in me, when you were the neighborhood, I was definitely going to say neighborhood dope man. Yeah. And
I was trying to,
But you were pretty adjacent. Okay.
I was that was my boyfriend.
Okay.
So
he supplied the herbals.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. But so this one Monday, We're going to the store to get some drinks. He's driving me. I got the ID, so I go into the store.
Okay.
I'm getting the stuff. There's this guy in here, and he's like, "Hey, you know," he's trying to holler, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm fine. No, thank you. Let me get your number. No, I'm fine."
Yeah.
Dude, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I'm still being nice though, because I knew I could see that he might have been a little shady himself.
Yeah.
So I get all the stuff, and the whole time we're in the store, he's pursuing, and I was like, I have a boyfriend. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good. So I pay for my stuff, and as I walk out, he's still talking to me, and it's like, "Fuck you,"
Yeah. All that stuff.
as I'm opening the door to walk out, and so my boyfriend hears. And I'm looking at his face, and he goes onto the door, and I was like, "Nope, it's good.
Yeah.
Let's just go. People waiting for me at the house." So we get in the car, and the guy's talking junk, so they're going back and forth. And now I see his hand going down to get something that was going to change all of our lives. And I talked him out of it, and we end up going back to the house, getting there. And so we're having a party. Everybody's having a good time. And one of the guys was like, "Yo, my dude's coming through." Exactly. The look on your face. And at that time, I'm looking at my boyfriend's face, and I see his facial expression change. And then I turn and look, and it's the guy from the store.
Of course.
And he charges him. And so his friend is like, "What is
What's
happening?"
happening?
You're like,
Yeah.
"Dude, what's wrong?" So now he's conflicted. Like, who am I supposed to help? But all of the other guys there are with my boyfriend. So they jump him, and they beat the snot out of him. They bust out his windows and all the stuff, because he was the only one who actually parked in front of my house. No other cars were at my house. So this turns into a whole big thing. Neighborhood, everybody's coming out. The police are now involved. Everybody scatters, and it just turns into a big mess. And because it's my house, naturally I'm the one that gets in trouble.
Of course.
But everybody knew that, you know, prior to that, I'd been a good kid. I never got in trouble. Everybody knew my dad died. I'd been going through something.
You weren't caught yet. Good kid.
No, until my dad died.
Oh, okay, before that.
Before Daddy died, I was cool.
Yeah.
After that, it was the shenanigans. So they stood in the gap for me, and they spoke up for me, and they didn't let me get in the trouble that I could have gotten into, because we had a policeman in our neighborhood that, you know, was friends with my family, so that vouched for me. So I was able to get out of that, but it's scared. Talk about scared straight.
And that was an eye-opening moment.
And I was like, yeah, this ain't the life for me, because baby, I can't go to jail. I can't go to juvie. I can't, like, none of that stuff is for me. So when we got back to school, so that was literally like August. So I had May, June, July, like 4 months, a full summer of foolery.
Yeah.
And by the time we got back into school, I was like, I got to do some different things.
Got to change.
And this time when the coach was like, "Hey, you should play volleyball. You should run track. You should play basketball." And I was like, "Okay." And they was like, "What?" Because they asked me every year. So, and I would never do anything.
And now was that time
I was like,
hold up.
Let me start doing some different things.
So that story is so awesome and terrible at the same time. It's terrible because obviously what happened, but like, had that story happened today, probably 2 to 3 people would have been dead.
Yeah.
Like, even like, a jumping can happen back then, but like now it's like multiple people
guns
are
involved.
Yeah. And not that guns weren't around.
Because he had one.
Yeah, it's just that's not the first move.
Yeah,
the first move is like I'm gonna beat you up.
Live tomorrow, and we can fight again tomorrow.
We can fight again tomorrow.
But that's not the mindset of kids today. Not at all.
That's so fortunate that like everything worked out the way it did, and that was the catalyst, obviously, to have you pick up a basketball. So was it, I want to do sports and it was basketball, or was I want to do sports and you were just trying different things?
You know, I wanted to do basketball because that was my dad's favorite sport. And that was a way for me to figure out how to stay connected to him and just do something that he enjoyed. Because I used to watch the games and stuff with him. He was a huge Lakers fan, but I was never really interested in playing.
Okay.
So I thought, I can do this and Daddy will like it. And I can get a scholarship to go to school. I can get me a scholarship.
At that time, the goal is just free school.
I just need to go to school. That's it. And so, but in doing that, the basketball coach was also the volleyball coach.
Okay.
And then the assistant coach was a track coach. So they was like, you're going to play sports year round.
Yeah.
They all help you. You know, track will help you with this. Volleyball will help with this. And I was like, bet, I need to do something and be productive. So that worked out. And it ended up changing my life.
Okay, awesome. So when you go to play, because most kids, and my niece picked up basketball for the first time this season. So she's 13, a little bit younger than you, but she's also my height. And it's like there's an expectation for her to be good, but it's like where would you have learned how to play basketball before? You've been in the house your whole life. So how was that transition for you?
It was difficult because I'm proud, like, so I had a reputation, like I was the cool kid.
Yeah.
So now that I start playing sports and I sucked.
Okay.
Like it was
Bad.
no bueno. It was not good at all.
And it should be. Like, how could it not be?
I was everything that I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Terrible. Because I'd never played before. Not even in the streets with my cousins. So I remember specifically when I first started playing, I knew how to rebound the ball, and I'm going to throw it to you, and I'm going to watch somebody else shoot, and I'm just going to get the rebound. I don't care if I was standing under the basket. I wasn't trying to shoot.
Gotcha.
But what I was doing is I was working out a lot.
Okay.
So I would come to school early in the mornings and work out with my coach. We'd have practice. When everybody left the gym, I stayed in the gym because I hated sucking. I hated it. And I remember my friends would be in the stands like, don't pass the ball to Rushia. And I'd be like, yeah, don't pass the ball to Rushia. I didn't want it anyway, but I hated that. So that just made me work. And I got more confident. I got better. And I saw that the more I worked, the better I got, which in turn made me work more. So that cycle, I just rinse and repeat, just keep going. So I just kept working and ended up being a much better player than people had anticipated.
Yeah.
And it went to, I can remember specifically, we were playing our crosstown rivals. And everybody was like, we were down, like 1 point with like 6 seconds left. And they're like, pass the ball to Rushia. So that's full circle moment. And I ended up hitting the shot and we win the game. Crowd goes wild. And I just thought, like all that work.
Yeah. What year was this?
That was my senior year.
Okay, got you. So
that was my senior year.
I know you had multiple options to go multiple different places for college. What was the decision to go where you went, and like how's that process in general? Because like right now, kids and offers, like it's absolutely crazy. Like especially since the internet, these kids have 50 billion offers at like 16 years old, they commit, they decommit, they go here, they go there, and it's a lot going on. How was that process for you?
From the time that I picked up a ball, I wanted to go to University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Like I did their camps. I wanted Tar Heel Blue. So I worked really hard for that, and I was recruited by them. By the time I was a senior, I was the number 2 recruit in the entire state of South Carolina.
Wow.
So I could choose whatever school. I was being recruited by Harvard, Duke, South Carolina, North Carolina. They chose me. And I went on my visit. I did all this stuff. I committed. And I remember Coach Hatchell was the coach for the '88 Olympics. So they were in Seoul, Korea, and she's calling me. She's like, Rushia, you ready to come to Carolina?
Wow. What a call.
I know. And I said yes, but I was scared. And I didn't want to go that far. Like, we were poor. I could barely get from one side of town to the other. And I didn't want to leave my family. So I chose, I decommitted. And I went to Furman, which is in Greenville, South Carolina. Mama moved to Columbia. I was an hour away from home. And again, there was no WNBA, so my only aspiration was to get a college degree.
Gotcha.
So playing college ball to do something else wasn't really what I was thinking about.
So
Furman is an excellent school.
So for you, it's education or education.
I was just going to get a college.
And even how was TV time for?
Back then, it wasn't.
So
really it wasn't like it is now.
You're going to be playing basketball, and you're going to get an education.
And I'm going to get a great education. And I'll move on from there.
The most you would have had would have been cool stories to tell. Right now. But the goal to be
no expectation of playing professional.
So
none.
And that makes perfect sense on like why to make that decision. Stay home, we're close to home, keep the family together, and let's get in and get out and get to the real world. Because after these 4 years,
I'm trying to get a job so I can help my family.
Absolutely. So obviously things change. you're in college. How was your college experience?
It was interesting.
Okay,
I went
interesting.
to
Interesting is the interesting word.
I went to a PWI. Furman was the same size as my high school.
Okay.
So it was a very small school.
Yeah.
2,500 people. We might have had 85 black people. 75 of them were athletes. So it was just a real weird dynamic.
Yeah.
And, I was just there. I went to class. I went to practice.
Yeah.
I had very little life. There was no party. I mean, there was some party life. It wasn't my type of party life on campus. Okay. So we would travel to Clemson and hang out and do stuff. But, it wasn't the typical college experience.
Yeah.
So I was super just committed to playing basketball and being the best. So
that probably was extremely beneficial.
I tell people all the time, even though it's a crazy decision to make for me not to go to North Carolina, when I went to Furman, it helped me be locked in. Because I was afraid, looking back, if I had gone to a big school that had all the perks of being a top
and we know you know how to party.
Get it in.
We know you know how to party.
I don't know if I would have been able to stay focused and do the things that I ended up doing at Furman.
Yeah.
So for sure, when I went to North Carolina on my visit, J.R. Reed picked me up from the airport.
Okay, that's crazy.
So at that time, he was Mr. Everything. So I was like,
this is happening.
Yes. Yeah. So they take me and we all out to dinner. We hanging out and doing stuff. So it was
and I'm
bananas.
A kid. Yeah.
It was crazy. And just it was too much. I wasn't ready. And I knew I would have gotten myself into some mess. So.
That was nowhere near with relation to sports, but I'm born and raised in Miami, and I knew, because I partied a lot in high school. Oh, man.
What?
So I've been a professional DJ since I was 16.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you knew.
So I'm in 21 Up clubs when I'm like 17 years old. And I was like, if I do not get out of Miami by the time I'm like 20, I'm here for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what the rest of that life looks like.
No guarantee it was going to be a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty guaranteed that it was not going to be a good thing. And it was just one of those things that I knew at a young age that was like, I've got to go to a place that's like, that there's kids there, that is people my age.
That allows you to be a kid.
Exactly. Because this adult life is moving very fast and I have too much access. So, yeah, I completely get it. Like I said, not on the same level, but I understand. So we're in college. We're having the time of our life playing basketball, development. So at this time, there's no WNBA.
Yep.
But there's professional basketball.
There is internationally.
Yes.
But even at that point, I didn't really know or care about that.
So did you have, the knowing part is what I'm interested about. Like, again, like, I don't think most younger people understand the internet just kind of got cool. Like, it just kind of got cool. Like, we had the internet, but it was like pages of like, it was basically
we had the encyclopedia.
Yes.
Like my age, I was in college 89 to 94. So ain't no internet.
Yeah.
There was no internet.
Pages. That's it. Yeah.
Microfiche.
That's it.
You got to go do your research. So playing overseas is something that I heard of in the distance. I didn't know anybody who played overseas. So it wasn't an aspiration. It wasn't something I was looking forward to.
Okay. So what did you want to do out of school?
I was going to be a social worker. Work with kids.
Gotcha.
I love working with
So you've
youth.
always wanted...
This is my space. Yeah, I'm a fix-it. I was going to help people.
Okay.
So that's what I wanted to do. And I took a few loops and, turns, but I ended up getting to what I wanted to do anyway. But no, I was just going to college to get my degree.
Got it.
So I got my degree in sociology.
Okay. So finish school.
Yeah.
And like, where are we, like, when we're done with school? We're just like hanging out in Carolina? Like, what's the game plan?
The plan was to get me a job, but in the spring of 94, my coach called me. She was like, hey, come up to my office at 2:00.
Okay.
And when I got there, she was like, this guy called. He's an agent repping players overseas. He wants to know if you want to go play overseas. And I was like, do what?
Yeah.
And I talked to him, and he talked about the opportunity. I would be playing in the Canary Islands in Spain. You get a house, you get a car, you get paid. And I was like, go play basketball and get paid for it? Sign me up.
Let's do it.
So I went over, and I had an amazing time. I was able to fly my family over. And it was just a great experience. So I ended up playing internationally for 10 years.
Okay.
So it was the furthest thing from my mind.
Okay.
But
So
when I got the chance, I went.
In 94, so when did you graduate?
94.
Okay, graduate in 94, and so you were able to take your family with you?
No,
Oh,
no.
they were able
I
to
went to fly them over.
Okay,
for Christmas,
gotcha.
my mom and my brother came over.
Okay. I was like, yo,
No,
y'all
y'all got to stay home and work. I ain't making that much money.
Okay.
No. It wasn't
so
money like that.
So when you say they give you a place to stay, play ball in a car, when we say car, what are we talking? Are we talking
just like a European car, Fiat.
Okay.
Like a couple of times, once I got bigger in my career, I had me a Mercedes and all that other stuff. But that first year, it was just like a little Fiat.
Okay.
Just a European car.
Gotcha. Over there, it's kind of regular, but
Absolutely.
Fiat over here is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's normal over there.
Okay. Cool. So we're in Spain. Like, how do you feel? You're 20?
Yeah. In 94, I was 22.
22. So we're 22 years old in Spain. I'm pretty sure at this point is English your only language?
No, and funny story. So when I was born in New York, my first babysitters were Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So they spoke Spanish to me. And oddly enough, my mom had to take me away from them because I spoke better Spanish than I did English.
So
she was like, I don't understand her. We gotta bring her home. So I started staying with one of my aunts.
Gotcha.
So Spanish was in me. So when I went to school and had to pick a language, I naturally chose Spanish. And when I moved to Spain, all I did was have to get the dialect.
And then you're good to go.
And I was good.
So correct me if I'm wrong, 4 languages?
I speak Spanish, Italian, some French.
Okay.
And Ebonics. I got it on lock.
Okay.
Ebonics.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So we're in Spain. So you're comfortable.
Very.
Okay, cool. So how's that transition from a basketball standpoint and just like adjusting? Because like now it's a job.
It is.
And like people are depending on me a little bit more than my college was depending on me to be productive.
For sure. And because when you played, you get 2 foreigners. So it was all Spanish girls and then 2 Americans. And I was excited because there was another American on my team, but she was a little bit older. And I guess she was a little, she felt some type of way about me being there. She didn't really talk to me. And she wasn't helping me get adjusted or nothing. She was just
this is
completely standoffish.
Very reminiscent to Love and Basketball.
Do you know that all the teams she played on are real teams and I played on them?
Really?
I was like, this is my life. Minus the husband.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
but no. So it was a challenge, but I became friends with my Spanish teammates.
Okay.
One of them lived upstairs from me, and so she and I and her family, they would have me down to eat with them.
And you being able to speak Spanish?
I spoke Spanish. So absolutely. And I tell people all the time, when you speak the language, when you go to another country, it makes you more inviting.
I've always wondered how that locker room dynamic is with someone who does not speak the language at all.
You're not going to be talking about me, and I don't know what's happening. So I want to know what's going on. So Spanish started off, it was really easy for me because now I understood what was being said. Because a lot gets lost in translation anyway.
Yeah. It's figure of speech, how we
get. And how you say things, and a lot gets lost in translation. But when I was initially in Spain, it was people are more receptive when you're trying to, immerse yourself in their culture, not just being the American. I speak English. I'm going to eat McDonald's. Like you're like, no, what y'all eating? I want some paella.
Exactly.
Let me get some torta. Like I want everything that they're indulging in. I wanted that too. So that made it easier for me to get accepted into their culture.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So I know there's like multiple parts of your professional career where international, then there's a WNBA part. At this point in time, there is no WNBA.
No. The first 3 years was just me playing overseas.
And were you on the same team?
No, I played in the Canary Islands my first year in Spain. Then I moved to Salamanca, which is on the mainland, a little bit from Madrid. And then I went to the south of France to play in Aix-en-Provence.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then that's when the WNBA started.
Gotcha. And so how does that call work? And is it I imagine when it's happening, when it's being built, you're privy that this is something that's happening?
So in 96, right before the Olympics, or not right before the Olympics, but before early 96, because the Olympics were like in July. David Stern held a press conference and said they were starting the Women's National Basketball Association.
Okay.
And all of women's basketball went crazy because everybody's like, oh, a chance to play at home.
Yeah.
Because, we were overseas and away from our families 9 months out of the year. So to get a chance to play at home, everybody wanted to be a part of the league. And they were only starting out with 8 teams. So 8 times 11, that's 88 women.
Yeah.
Plus, 8 times 12 because they had some reserves, practice players, just in case of an injury.
Of course.
So I called my agent and I was like, T, you got to get me on one of these teams. She's like, Rushia's going to be tough because, they're going for brands and names and big colleges. Like, had you gone to North Carolina like you were supposed to, your name would be in the hat. But, it's going to be a little different. So after the Olympics, they put all the Olympians on teams. And then they went to the top colleges and got the girls from Tennessee, from Duke, from North Carolina, and put them on teams. And then they started doing searches internationally for the women that were already playing professional. So I'm excited because I'm playing in France. I'm the leading scorer.
Okay.
My team is in the champion. We're a great team, and I'm the leader of that team. They were still picking girls all around me. And I'm like, I just gave her 30.
Yeah.
You got 26 and 12.
Yeah.
I had a chip on my shoulder, literally. But they weren't checking for me.
Yeah.
And they did all that. I wasn't even invited to camp, as a free agent. But luckily for me, that first year, they had a marketing push. So they let all the teams have open tryouts. So I was here.
Now you can't.
Now I got to come get you. Now I got to come get you. So I was living here in Atlanta, and me and 3 of my girlfriends drove from Atlanta to Charlotte because that was the closest team, the Charlotte Sting. We go to Charlotte, walk into a gym. There are 200 women trying out for 2 spots. I don't know whose idea, but it was crazy because it was a marketing ploy. So there was women out there up to 80 years old that just wanted to be a part of it. Get that
funny.
WNBA
I can
jersey.
Visualize seeing this.
The gym smelled like icy hot. People got their braces on, and I was like, ma'am, now I got to beat up somebody's grandma to get this job, but you're going to catch this work.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
The older ones were out within the first 30 minutes. They just wanted to be a part of the experience. Yeah.
And that's awesome for them, too.
That was beautiful.
Because I played basketball at a time where none of this
was an opportunity.
So I'm just going to show up and be able to tell my grandbabies I did it.
And have that jersey.
Yeah.
I still have my tryout jersey.
Oh, that's super awesome.
So they, so I made it from 200 to 100 down to 50 down to the last 6.
Okay.
And got cut. So I'd never been cut from anything since the time I picked up a ball. So I was crushed. And I go home to my mom and I have a meltdown. And she's looking at me like,
yeah. So what you gonna do next?
So what you gonna do?
What you gonna do next?
And I'm like, listen, lady, can I have a moment? She don't care.
Hold me,
she
mama.
does not care. None of that. None of it. But she was like, if you think you're good enough, you got to figure out a way to get on one of these teams. So the following weekend, Cleveland was having a tryout.
Okay.
And I asked my brother, I was like, look, I want to go try out, but I can't drive up there by myself.
Yeah.
I need you to come with me. And he was working at this shoe store. He just got promoted to manager.
Yeah.
And he goes in, he was like, I need to be off next week. And it was like, you can't be off. And he was like, so what happened if I don't come in? It was like, you're going to get fired. He was like, okay, then I quit. He just left. And he came with me to drive me. So now I got to get on somebody's team because my crazy ass brother done quit his job. To come with me. But so we drive up to Cleveland, same thing, 200 women for those 2 spots. And the same thing, all the old people, the regular people, top people, everybody was there. So I made it down to the final 6 again. And this time the coach was like, you had a good tryout. We're going to keep you on, but we're going to let you be a practice player. And I was like, lit.
Yeah.
So practice player meant, because we had practice twice a day. 3.5 hours each time. Plus you got to be there 30 minutes early, 30 minutes after, video, ice, all that stuff. We were in the gym 10 hours a day, easy. I could practice with the team, but when it came time for the games, I would have to sit in the stands. And when the team went on the road, I would stay and work out with one of the trainers so I can be in shape in case somebody got hurt. And I was like, ain't nobody came all the way up here for that.
Yeah.
I ain't say that. That's what I was thinking.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, yes, ma'am. Whatever. Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and thank you. So we had training camp for like 3.5 weeks before the season started. Mm-hmm. And every day, I think I cried every night because it was the hardest everything I'd ever done. Like just the level of play, like it was crazy.
So a couple questions that I have. The lifestyle, specifically from a financial standpoint, overseas, how did that compare to the lifestyle if you made the team?
I got paid overseas. My first year playing in the WNBA, I made $15,000. That was food and shopping money.
You said
1-5. Because I wasn't a draft pick.
Yeah.
I wasn't, even on the team. I was a practice player.
As like a professional basketball player that plays.
$15,000 before taxes.
Okay, so
gas money.
You wanted to be in the
shopping.
WNBA.
Because I knew if I got in, I was going to, make it worth it. But I just knew it would give me a chance to play in front of my family. I'm going to be working out anyway because I got to be in shape to go back overseas. Yeah. Plus, that adds to my contract.
Okay,
because
go ahead.
I'm coming overseas, but I got WNBA on my resume.
So that also might give me some clarity. The seasons don't play at the same time?
No, because the WNBA is in the summer.
Okay.
So I would go overseas, come back home in April, play WNBA until September, go back overseas. So 7 years, I played year round.
That makes sense. Okay, I get it now. Because I'm in my head, I'm just like, hold up now. This not
I wasn't giving up no money.
Okay, got you. That's what I thought.
I was just getting paid to work out and compete against the top players in the world. Because I was going to be working out anyway.
Yes. And so a question that I have also is some of that pain in the workout while it's happening, is some of that pain due to the fact of like, I know I'm better than some of these people?
Yes, because it's still a politics game.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. Especially in the beginning. I averaged 25 points overseas and I come over here and I ain't supposed to shoot.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm open. What you mean? Pass the ball.
Shoot the J.
I'm about to shoot. But I fell in line, because I knew that there were people politically, just even with the game now, even if it's somebody on the bench that may be more productive than this person that they're playing $25 million, they're not going to put their $25 million on the bench.
No.
So it was still political. But I fell in line and I did what I was supposed to do.
Okay.
And I was still productive. I was a leader on the court. I ended up being a starter, all that stuff. But I just got buckets when I went overseas. Yeah. So I just had to play my role.
Okay. And so so we're on the practice team. Obviously you make it to the team and you're on the team for a good amount of time. What's that process like? Is it like a phone call? Did somebody get injured? Or did you just
we're in the practice team. Practice team for training camp. Okay. And at the end of training camp, she was like, "Look, you had a great training camp." So she took the girl off the regular roster and made her training camp, made her a practice player, and then made me a regular. So this is like on a regular roster.
Drumline, like P1.
It's absolutely. And what's crazy is the young lady that she took off the team, she came in through the tryouts too, but they selected her to be on the team and not a practice, and me be a practice player. So throughout those 3.5 weeks, I showed that I was supposed to be on the team. Yeah. So she became the practice player.
Got it.
And then 7 games in, she calls me in the office, and now you're scared because when they call you,
it's like, whoa,
like what happened?
Am I going home?
No. And she said, like you've had a great start of the season, you've been playing really well for us. We play LA on ESPN on Friday. I'm going to start you because you're the best matchup for Lisa Leslie.
Wow.
So I get a chance to start. My first start was on national TV.
Wow.
And I was so hyped. I was so excited. My family's getting a chance to watch. It's going to be on TV.
On TV, yeah.
And, it was just really, all the work.
Yeah.
It was just something that I stress to the kids that I work with now, everybody's journey is different. So it doesn't matter what the person beside you, what their journey looks like. You create your own path. You figure it out because you can still have whatever you want. Yeah. I ended up being a starter for 7, the majority of my career, but I was cut from Charlotte.
Got you. So we're not going to breeze past that. How was that start in Los Angeles?
No, it was actually in Cleveland.
Oh, it was in Cleveland.
So we were at home in Cleveland, yep. And I remember, it was great. I scored my first 2 baskets because I was guarding Lisa, but she wasn't guarding me.
Gotcha.
They had this big old Chinese girl, Hai Shao Shang.
Okay.
But that girl was 6'8".
Yeah.
Had to be like 250.
Yeah.
And I was quick as spit. She could not catch up with me. So I catch that ball up top and pew, boom. See ya.
Okay.
So I scored 2 times, and that third time Lisa came through and sent that shit in the stand. So, but I was hyped, so it was whatever. And but it gave me the confidence. I was like, okay, I'm gonna pull up next time. I'm not gonna go all the way in.
Not gonna do that.
I'll pull up and pass.
She's quick.
Yeah, she's coming. I'm gonna drop it off to Jay.
Okay.
But no, it was an amazing experience. We won the game.
Okay.
I played well.
Yeah.
And that just gave me the confidence I needed.
That's awesome. That's
so
dope.
Through my career. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Okay, so WNBA then, WNBA now. We're getting to a place where, just in women's sports, where I feel there's just a overall excitement.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's people are waking up and changing their mind. I don't know if things are actually changing. What are your thoughts on that? Just the landscape, but because you've been there since the beginning. And you can definitely answer that. Of course, you've been there for basketball, but you've seen the landscape of women's sports in general. Mm-hmm. So what do you think has gotten us to where we are now?
I definitely think there's been talent all along. I played with Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Lynette Woodard, who's my vet, who there was in all this big discussion about the scoring title with Caitlin Clark. Mm-hmm. I've played with these women, so the talent has always been there. Yeah. But I think the coverage hasn't. And we talked about social media and how things, you can get something on your phone in a quick second. You know what's happening, even if you weren't there. Mm-hmm. So I think that has a lot to do with it. The players are so skilled. There's more effort going into the training and making sure that you're prepared for that next level. Mm-hmm. And even the mentorship. Like South Carolina, Dawn Staley was my point guard when I played in Charlotte. Because I played my last year in Charlotte. Dawn had 5 girls last year. Her starting 5, all of them went to the league. All of them went to the league.
That's crazy.
That's not a mentorship that you can get from a regular coach. Mm-hmm. And she's teaching them on and off the court. I think all these things play a part. The TV contracts. Yeah. Like I said, social media plays a huge part. Mm-hmm. And the personalities of the women are getting shown. You can see even down to the fight. Lisa, not Lisa, what's the child name? Angel Reese. Yep. Mm-hmm. All this stuff. People want to see it. Shaq made a comment the other day. He was like, I'm watching the women's Final Four because it's popping.
He literally was like, I'm watching my girl.
The boys.
But it's just better.
Everybody wants to watch it. And it's so much enthusiasm, so much intensity. Yeah. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that it's coming to this point. But the talent has always been there. And I think like everything else, it's just developing.
Personality part helps a lot. When it comes to men's sports, it's closer to a reality star. Mm-hmm. Where it's I'll take Kyrie for an example. I don't like Kyrie. Why don't you like Kyrie? Oh, because something maybe that I heard on the internet.
Ain't got nothing to do with basketball.
Or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. But you've turned that into Kyrie's game? What are we talking about? Mm-hmm. Kyrie's not good. Okay, what are we talking about?
Lunacy.
Or it's just somebody else you do like because of whatever reason, and it's that connection to it because there's such visibility. Yep. Nothing has to do with the game. And I think now it's these girls speak. These girls have an opinion. These girls are cool. A friend of mine, he breaks down NIL deals, and he was like, these girls are killing the guys in NIL deals. The young lady from North Carolina, she has a Tommy Hilfiger deal. That's cool. Mm-hmm. These guys are getting Ford F-150s. No one cares about that. A Tommy Hilfiger deal, that is so awesome.
It's so much.
We're being able to, you have a life, you do this, you like fishing, you like, reading, you like writing, you can draw. You're a human.
The personalities definitely play a part, even like I said, when it's negative, because people love to hate.
We need to heal.
People love to hate. And,
WWF
all this stuff.
Has been WWF for a reason. Yep.
For a reason. They're always sold out.
Yeah.
But I think the same regard is coming into play with the women. Yeah. Last year with Caitlin Clark. And Angel Reese, this thing, with the ring.
Absolutely.
such a huge, like the world was in an uproar.
World was just like,
and Angel was like, what y'all tripping about?
Yeah.
Men do this stuff all the time. But as soon as a woman says something and it's visible, now she's the bad guy.
Yeah.
But I love it. I love it.
Okay.
That intensity is there.
I think, I definitely think that coverage is just, it's so important. And the internet, now the women don't need the coverage as much also. Because they can put their own stuff out.
You can create your own content.
You create your own content. The school's media teams are getting behind these girls and just showing these cool plays to where, again, to your point, you weren't even there. I was talking to my dad this morning. I'm like, yo, did you see that lob that happened last night? Yeah. He's like, did you see? I was like, oh, no, I didn't see the game. I saw it on Instagram. I'm like, I was asleep, man. I can't watch West Coast games on a school night. Yeah, what you talking about? But it's right there. It's happening. And these schools, they're putting these edits out, and you just get so much. I just think that's super dope. In terms of and I think it's just awesome because, and we'll go back into your actual playing career, you've been on kind of all aspects of this journey. You've played in the WNBA, you've worked in the front office of the WNBA. From my understanding, you had some time working in the front offices in the NBA. How is that world as civilians, where it's almost like, it's like Republicans and Democrats, whether it's the WNBA and the NBA, but how is that world in terms of like the inner circle?
You know, everybody's pretty much on the same team. WNBA is like the little sister. Yeah. The little bratty little sister. Okay. Because you still don't get all the stuff that the big brother gets. Gotcha. But you're still looking at the fact that the WNBA has been in existence for, I think we're going in the year 28. Yeah. And the league has been around almost 100 years. Yeah. Like, so whatever the case is. So yet and still, we're doing better at our point where they were at the same point. But technology, TV, like everything is different. So people are always fussing about the women don't make enough money. It's still a business. It's a business. You know, the contracts, merchandise, butts and seats, all of that matters. It is getting better. Yeah. It's definitely getting better. But there's support. And, so it's fun
so
being
awesome
in that
to
space.
hear, because on the internet, and largely it's, the podcast and the media that wants to put division in. But it's so great to hear, and I think that's also realistic. I mean, we can point out plenty of guys who don't play that make more than Michael Jordan ever made. And
right now. So think about that.
Evolution is supposed to happen.
That's how it happens.
And that just is the way it's going to be. And that's why I hate comparing this to that or that time period to that time period.
Me too.
Because it's not possible.
It's not
There's so many things that change. And there's so many things that, again, we just have to work in the realities that we live in. And I think that was such an excellent point when you said the WNBA is way past, and I don't want to put the way part on you. You might not have said way.
It is way past.
And I believe you. I just didn't want to. I don't want to misquote you. You didn't say that to where.
But the times are different.
And the times are different. And I think everybody kind of working together to kind of make. Because it just creates more enjoyment, more entertainment for everybody. It allows fans to be able to say, yo, I want to do this. And what I think it allows, I don't think it does, I know it allows, which I love so much, giving young girls the permission to play sports. I train so many women that have never played sports before. And it's just like, man, your inability to take direction, you're offended. And it's like, for most of these people, you're never even going to play college basketball or sports, and that's fine. But allowing women to say, you know what, I can join this soccer team, I can join this volleyball team, I can do these particular things at whatever age and just enjoy it and have fun. And then go and live your regular life. Go code at Google or whatever the case may be. But be able to work with a team. Be able to hear no. Be able to be rejected. Be able to, I think that's stripped from so many women. And guys get it just as a rite of passage.
It is definitely something that's great for the women. Studies show that 90% of women that are in C-suites have played sports at some level.
90%?
90, over 90. I just don't remember if it's 92 or 96.
That doesn't matter.
But over 90% of
70%
women that are
crazy.
in the C-suites have played sports at some level.
And that makes sense.
And there's so many transferable skills that you learn on the court that help you be dope, amazing once you stop playing whatever that sport is. The discipline, being able to be a team player.
Yeah.
I've seen girls, I say something to them, they ready to cry. You're not about to make me cry just because you say something to me. Like, what? I done had curses. I've been cussed out by coaches. Like, you learn how to take in what's being said without how it's being said.
Yeah.
My grandma used to say, eat the fish, spit out the bones.
That's it. It's a buffet.
So it's something that you learn how to do, and you just learn how to, I'm going to stay here until it gets done.
Yeah.
You know, like that, you can't get that anyplace else.
No.
So whether you only played in middle school and high school, if you made it to college, heaven forbid, if you go to the league, you're getting life experiences that most people don't get.
Yeah.
And especially as a woman, because you're coming off, you're going to be at a disadvantage anyway because you're a woman.
Yeah.
And so you're being in these circles, the expectations may be different. You got to figure out how to be tough and how to push through and how to make yourself be successful.
Yeah.
And so sports, I encourage, I don't care what you're doing, go run track, go kick the balls, do something, anything. So I think it's really important. Get yelled at by somebody other than me.
Yeah.
My daughter's gonna play all the sports. She's doing everything.
And it don't matter where you go.
I don't care.
Yeah.
You don't ever have to play basketball. I put her in soccer. I didn't even want her to play basketball because I knew, because I played professionally, it would be a hard road for her.
Yeah.
But go play soccer. What, you want to play flag football? Let's go. Let's go do that.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn how to compete. You're going to learn how to be disciplined.
Yeah.
You're going to learn how to balance things in your life. All of that stuff makes a difference.
Awesome. So I want to get into the professional aspect of your life, but I also want to tail in the basketball career. And we've jumped all over the place when it comes to basketball, which is super awesome. How does... And it was 6 years that you played in Charlotte?
I played 6 in Cleveland and one in Charlotte.
I swapped them. One in Charlotte. So you retired in Charlotte.
I retired, yep.
How does that end of life process work for a professional basketball player? Like the before, so if this is the retirement, at this point somewhere we're getting here, what are those indicators? And then what is life afterwards like?
You know, I actually pulled the trigger too soon. I was having knick-knack injuries, and it was really getting on my nerves. I had won 3 championships in Europe, and then I came and played in Charlotte. And then I was like, that's it. I'm going to retire. And they was like, you going to do what? Dude, you just won 3 championships. You about to double your money next year. You got to do so-and-so and da-da-da-da. And I was like, I'm so sick of my body. But what I needed to do was probably rest. You know, I probably should have taken the WNBA season off and just played overseas since that's where my real money was coming from. But I allowed myself to get so frustrated. And I tell people all the time, if your mind is right, you can tell your body what to do. But I'd allowed myself to get mentally frustrated with everything, and I just quit. Yeah. You know, so it didn't make sense, and so there was no coming up to, no indicators. I was just like, this is some bull. I quit. I'm tired of this. I tore the plantar fascia in both of my feet. It was always something. So I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna play anymore. And so I laid around the house for a while, call all my friends, be like, let's go to lunch. Yeah, because I'm like, what y'all doing? You wake up the next day, it's like, wait a minute, I don't got to go to practice. I don't have anything to do. And I'm so used to having a life that's structured. I knew where I was supposed to be, when, for how long, and what I was supposed to be doing. And I got to the point where I was like, hey, what y'all doing? And my friend's like, hey, we got jobs. Quit calling me talking about lunch. And when we go to lunch, you out here drinking margaritas. We can't drink margaritas. I gotta go back to work. So we're adults, Rushia. We are adults. And that's the thing. My life had not been one of a regular person. So while my friends, because I used to always get on them, you need to work out. You're gaining weight. Why are you gaining weight? It's like, I don't play sports for a living. Yes. I'm an accountant. Yes, literally, my best friend is an accountant, and she's the one. And so I literally had no idea what I was supposed to be doing because I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a plan. So it was really just me laying around and spending money and traveling and hanging out. Then I was like, oh, I'm spending too much money. Yeah, so I had to get a grasp. But then I slipped into depression because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life and what I was supposed to be doing.
So how old were you at this point?
31.
Okay.
I was 31.
So you got a whole lot of life left in front of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So where's your mind at? Like what do you do?
Lucky for me, I have an amazing family. Mm-hmm. And my mom used to be like, why are you always in this room? Yeah. Why? I was like, nag. Yeah. But she was right. So I started doing some stuff to get out and go work with kids. I love kids. I love basketball. So I would go mentor kids at the Boys and Girls Club. Okay. I would do some little training. I would do things that I enjoyed doing because I didn't know what type of job I wanted. Yeah, but honestly, I didn't want a job. Yeah. But I know I needed to do something. Mm-hmm. So I started doing those things, and I made businesses out of the things that I loved. Okay. So I started a nonprofit where I work with kids, still have it to this day. I started a basketball training. I did that for a while. Now I have an AAU team. So I've stuck to the things that I love. Yeah. After being gone for so long, I was like, I'm not doing anything that's going to take me away from my family unless I love it. Yeah. So. Okay. So that depression, and I hear about that often, the end of life, is it almost like, who am I as a human anymore? Because I have, and still people today is like, Rushia the basketball player. I'm like, man, I ain't dribbled the ball in 25 years. What are we talking about? Yeah. But that's a part of my brand. And when you are in a space where that's what people know you for, and I was even trying to walk into businesses and get sponsorships and do things and have opportunities and build a business for myself. People didn't see me as a business person. Yeah. I'm just a basketball player. In the world that we live in, athletes are seen from the neck down. Yeah. It's all about your physical presence and how good you are on the court or field. But I went to Furman. I got a degree. I am very intelligent. Yeah. And even as an athlete, people don't understand how much brain capacity it takes to remember all these plays, do all these things, be able to act in it's a lot of quick thinking. Yeah. But you never get credit for that. And I was just in a space where people just saw me as a basketball player. Yeah. So I had to figure out how to get out of that. Yeah. How were you able to pivot? So I just started doing other things. And, I used it because I let basketball get me in the door. Yeah. But once I got into the room, I had to show you what else I had to offer. I speak these several languages. I never even thought about how I could use that until one day one of my girlfriends was all stressed. She was like, oh my God, I've got this document and I got to find somebody to translate it. I was like, what language is it? Yeah. She's like, Spanish. I was like, oh, I'll do it. She was like, what? Yeah. I was like, girl, I'm fluent. She was like, what? I was like, you didn't know? But I never even knew how to, use my traits and my qualities to my advantage after sports. Yeah. So I did that. And for a while, I just translated documents. So I did that for her. Give me a quick 250. Yeah. I'm going to read this and do easy. Another person, boom, boom, but boom. I never even thought about it. And so often, I think we get into a space where who we are just becomes norm. Yeah. And we don't know how to flash that and be like, hey, this is me. This is all the stuff that I am capable of doing. Yeah. So, like I said, I just started doing things that I loved, stuff that was just easy for me. Yeah. And figured out how to monetize it. Okay. That's awesome. So at what point in your career do you get back, I guess, initiated with professional sports? Because you're figuring it out at this point. And then there was a resurgence back into the world of basketball at a professional level. Because like you said, you were always mentoring and things of that nature. So I retired in 2003. I was building businesses and doing stuff with my family for a while. I still had my friends that played in the league. So I was traveling, going to games, hanging out with people, seeing what they were up to. But I found myself in a space where I was playing in a celebrity game. Okay. And we were in Texas or somewhere. And one of the young ladies who had been a 2-time WNBA All-Star, played in the league 6 or 7 years, played internationally as well. She comes to the thing and we find out she's homeless. And I'm like, how does that happen? But she was from I also have to realize everybody doesn't have the family that I have. My mom and my brother and my sister, we were super close knit. you're going to get snatched back into line. No matter what you got going on, somebody going to help you. We're going to figure it out. But she didn't have that. She was from Chicago. She had mental issues. Nobody took care of it when she was playing in the league. Because as long as you're playing well, just keep going. But so when she got done playing, she didn't have anything to go to. She was literally living on people's couches. So in that moment, we just, everybody got some money. It was like, here, take this. But I was like, me and B and the fixer. I'm like, I'm about to call somebody. What we got to do? So I called the WNBA and I was like, listen, we have a sister that's in trouble. What can we do? How can we help her? Their focus is on the current players. So the NBA has the NBRPA, which is the National Basketball Retired Players Association. So I go to them because I'm thinking the WNBA is under the NBA. So our retired players should be under their retired players. So I approached them, and Charles Smith was the president at the time. And I asked him, I was like, look, how can we help? The women need to be a part of this organization. He took it to the board, and they said no. And I was like, jankiness, what in the world? But Charles understood the importance, so he helped me build my own organization, which was the Women's Professional Basketball Alumni. And so I did that. He put me on with some people that wanted to support. And so I became the person that everybody came to when they were getting ready to transition. I started hosting retreats. We would do stuff. I made relationships because I didn't have no money to fund it. But I've always had the gift of gab. I've always been able to walk into space.
You knew people.
I was just being me, and I would talk to everybody. So just being in that space, I started building relationships. And I put it together when somebody needed, assistance financially or was getting ready to transition into a job, needed some financial education, not assistance, because I ain't got no money for it. I ain't got it. But, whatever was needed, then I put those things into place through building relationships. Got some sponsors. I started hosting events at Final Fours, doing retreats for the women. And so that just kept me involved. And in doing that, I started learning more about the different programs that the WNBA and the NBA were doing. And I remember I had gone to New York for an event, and I was talking to Charles. He was like, look, the NBA has this program called the Crossover. You should try and go. And he's like, but you're going to have to figure out how to get in because it's all men. And so I called the W and I was like, hey.
What is the Crossover?
So the Crossover is a program for athletes that want to transition into front office positions.
Got it.
So they do all this tutoring. They give you work experience. They allow you to be in a space where you're shadowing and actually having to do some work.
Gotcha. So you're going to show up on maybe they won't notice.
That was my plan. But so I called the WNBA and I was like, hey, can you guys send me a good letter of for this program? And it was like, that's for men. And I was like,
I know.
That's what I'm telling you to write me a letter. They didn't write me a letter.
Come on,
so
man.
I went in there myself. I was in New York and I found out who was over the program. And I went in and I was like, listen, I want to be a part of this program. I feel like if the NBA is supporting the WNBA, I should be able to participate.
Absolutely.
So I was the first woman that was involved in that program.
Oh, that's awesome.
Literally went in there and it was 30 men and me. And every question I was trying to answer. So I just made my voice heard and I just continued to do it. And it went extremely well. So I did that program. And I kept doing my other stuff with the WPBA and my nonprofit, so I was just doing those things. So that program was only 2 weeks. About a year later, they put another program in place. And I signed up for it. But meant I had to move to New York for 7 months. So I did that. My daughter Morgan might have been, this was in 16, 17. So Morgan was 4. I moved to New York and my daughter stayed home. And my mom kept her and I flew back home every other weekend. But I wanted that opportunity because it was going to give me a chance to work in the front office. So I did the program. I spent 3 months with the NBA, 3 months with the WNBA. They offered me a position in New York. And I was like, nah, I don't like it here. I don't want to live here. So I'm just going to wait. I got home, and in February, I get a phone call from Bill Laimbeer. And he was like, "Hey, Rushia, I know you don't know me." And I was like, "I know
Yes,
you.
I know you.
I don't know.
I know you don't know me.
I'm trying to figure out why you calling me."
Yeah.
But I was like, he said, "I am moving the team from San Antonio, the San Antonio Silver Stars, to Las Vegas to be the Las Vegas Aces." And I've talked about it. I've created a position, and I've talked to the people in the league, and everybody says you're the person that I need to have on my team for this.
What was that position?
Player programs and franchise development manager.
Okay.
So that was the first position like that in our league. So it was me helping the players build their brands off the court.
Awesome.
Being the face of the league. The face of the team before the team got moved in. So I did all the speaking engagements. I did all the community pieces. But my job was figuring out what the girls enjoyed off the court and helping prepare them to be just as dope off the court as they are on.
That's beautiful.
So I did that for 2 years until COVID acted up. And then I went to LA for 2 years and took another front office position. But, I've never been afraid to, just let's see. If it's something I love, I'm trying to figure it out. And I love the game and what it does for the women.
With that support system, I can always go back home.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can always go back home. Always.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It's been amazing. This journey has been amazing for me.
So what are you doing currently?
So I moved back here.
The deep side.
Yeah, I moved back here in 22, in May of 22. My mom lives with me. She's she's helped me get into every situation because she supported me. Like I got an 11-year-old daughter and I never have to worry about where she is, what she needs. And so my mom has helped, but she's also 78. So I wanted to get back closer to home so she can be clear, near family. But I have my nonprofit. I'm completely in that space now where I do workshops and mentorship programs for young girls. I just started an AAU program.
Okay.
This is my newest undertaking, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
I just started an AAU program here, Team Passion.
Okay.
But I love it because I want to be able to provide these young ladies with opportunities to go to college.
Yeah.
I have all the relationships in the world. Like I can pick up my phone and get to any coach in America. I can get them overseas because I've done that too.
Absolutely.
With our program, we're doing mental wellness. I have tutors. We're going to do everything. They're going to have everything they need to be prepared. I am a consultant for a financial literacy company because I try and help these professional athletes learn how to deal with their money and hold the people accountable that are actually being paid to deal with their money. I am in the midst of writing books. I do a lot of speaking, corporate speaking. So I'm still just in the space where I'm doing all the things that I love. So I got 6 jobs and no job at all.
That's beautiful.
There's no job.
Yeah, because
I'm just doing all the stuff that I love.
That's so awesome. All from picking up a basketball.
All from picking up a ball.
That's amazing. I think, if there's any takeaway, just try it. Try something.
Yes.
Try something.
Try everything.
Yeah.
Try everything.
Everything, yeah.
Because you never know which one of those things is going to stick. And I even tell, kids, I thought basketball was my gift.
Yeah.
That just provided me with the platform, to do all the other things that I want to do. We talked about the NBRPA, how at first the board wouldn't allow them to take the women on. Just 3 weeks ago, I got inducted. I'm on the board of directors now.
Awesome.
So I'm on the board of directors for the NBRPA, the Retired Players Association, for the NBA, WNBA, ABA, and the Harlem Globetrotters. So now I get a chance to sit at the table when I've been nagging them forever. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You don't have to make the calls. You're the one who receives the call.
Call me. I'm in the room. So I get a chance to speak up on behalf of my sisterhood and just, put some more stuff on the table. So it's really about, like you said, I try everything. If I don't like it, then I put it down. If I do, I'm going to figure out how I can make it work. And so I think from a child, when you said you hadn't been a fixer all the time, I have been. I have been. My mom would tell you how I would be bringing kids home trying to feed them. She's like, we ain't got no food. How you trying to feed somebody? You gonna give her your piece of chicken? Because what So, but I've always been that person. So I think I'm most comfortable because I get a chance to operate in my passion, in my space that I'm happiest.
That's so awesome. That's so awesome. Well, I appreciate this conversation. I think before we go, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first question is, where do you see, you can go 5 or 10 years, the WNBA in 5 years? 5 or 10 years. You answer that however you want. And I'll ask you the second question after you answer that.
No, I see the WNBA growing and being amazing. I see $1 million contracts within, we'll say 10 years.
10 years?
I see that. Because think about it, I made $15,000.
Yeah.
I think top salaries now are like $250,000, $300,000.
Okay.
Plus their marketing. Like there's so much more opportunity for marketing. Like they still millionaires, even if their salary is only $250,000.
Absolutely. And couple that with NCAA also.
And listen.
Yeah, so I want you to answer that. You can mesh those together.
Because now I see, and it's so funny because the NCAA with this new NIL.
Yeah.
Like somebody said something about Angel Reese saying, "No, I'm not ready to come out." Why? She's making more money now than she will when she makes in the league.
And what's the pressure? I could be a kid.
Yeah, you'd be a kid.
I can hang out. I can go to parties.
Yes.
If I'm drunk in the middle of the street, it's not the same as if I'm drunk in the middle of the street
as a pro.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely
why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, life is different. But I definitely think there's so many different opportunities, and the game is going to continue to grow this year. I mean, I thought last year was ridiculous.
Yeah.
This year is going to be amazing. The Final Four is in Cleveland. I'll be in Cleveland.
Oh, we know.
I'm hosting some events and doing some stuff, but it's going to be crazy. I cannot wait.
If you see me at the window, just open the back door. Just
go back over here.
I can drive to Cleveland.
Let's go. No, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be but the growth and the potential, because everybody, and like you said, we talked about Shaq and his comments.
Yeah.
And earlier, you made a comment about how the NBA is supporting the WNBA. There are still people who talk crazy about women's sports, but it's never the people who played sports. All the NBA guys get mad props and say, great job. But it's the fool who didn't make his high school team.
I look at
and acted crazy.
I look at the people's comments who say stuff. It was one guy I remember when Caitlin broke the record, and it was like, well, Pistol did it without 3 points, and I was just like, I looked at his page, I'm like, Rodney, what are we talking about? Like, what are we talking about? Like, and I was like, and I looked at his age, and I was like, you had to look that up.
Yeah.
You really went to Google to try to discredit.
To find a way to hate.
It's always Rodney in the basement typing away.
It's
never
the guy
anybody
in LA
involved.
Fitness that never, and there have been a couple of stories, and I've watched it. One of my, D Brown, his daughter Lexi, played this guy. He played JUCO ball, college ball, just talking crazy to her. She dusted him.
Of course.
And then and she's super cute, and she wears a little short shorts, and then just looked at him, flipped her hair, and kept it moving.
They kept it moving.
But it's always the one who couldn't.
Yeah.
So I'm just excited because the men and everybody's watching, and the support is growing more and more every day. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next 5 to 10 years. Definitely, like I said, I see $1 million salaries because the new TV deals are coming into place. Our new commissioner is doing a great job of bringing in better partners and sponsors. So I see nothing but the rise. But the college game, even more so. It's crazy.
As you coach, so you are coaching the AAU team?
Negative.
Okay.
I am the brand. I'm the face. So I started the team. I have an amazing group of women that are my coaches, all of whom have played D1 basketball and some have played professionally. So, no, I don't want to coach.
Okay.
I'm at practice, so I train and I help.
I didn't know if we were seeing a primetime story.
They don't want me cussing at their kids.
Okay.
I'm crazy.
Would you ever coach at a higher level?
No, I don't want to do that either.
Okay, leave it alone.
I don't want to do it.
Okay, okay.
Like I coached my daughter's middle school team for the last 2 years, and that was the most stressful thing that I've ever done. And I'm not doing that anymore.
So, and that's fair. That's fair. Coaching's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility, and it's just a lot.
And I just want to be her mom.
That's it.
Like it changes our relationship. When I'm fussing at her in practice, then we get in the car and she's looking at me like this. She's mad. So I want to be her mom. I want to be able to encourage her and support her, put her in the best situation possible to be successful, and train her. if needed. But I want to be hands off as far as her basketball.
No, that's perfect.
And I want to guide her.
I like that. I think that's safe. That's safe for everybody.
I don't want to ruin
involved.
our relationship.
Yeah, because you'll gain something.
I am intense.
You'll gain something, but you'll lose a lot.
I'll lose something else.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
And like we said earlier, I retired at 31. So the time she spends on the court is going to be way shorter than the time she spends in life.
Absolutely.
So me damaging that relationship over something that's going to be short-lived.
Not worth it.
It's not worth it.
Not worth it. Okay. My second question, 5 years, 10 years, however you see it, and make sure that you throw your podcast in there. Where do you see you going? And not where do you see, where are you going? Because I know you know where you're going.
In 5 to 10 years, I will have, because my goal is to finish writing. I've got like 2 or 3 books that are in me that I have not completed.
Okay.
I want to.
Can we get a top, like what
So
they're about?
one of them is the passion principles, how to be the exception and not the rule. You know, passion is my word. So it is an acronym for perseverance, attitude, sacrifice, setting goals, inner strength, optimism, and never giving up. So I share that on every platform that I'm on. But I'm writing that book so I can have some, be able to sell them when I go places. So I want to do international speaking tour.
Okay.
Where I just go from city to city, country to country, empowering women. And not just women, because I do men as well, but I love women leadership conferences and helping women figure out how to be a boss and figure out that balance. Well, not even balance, because I don't believe there's balance. Just don't drop the same ball twice.
There we go.
So I'll be doing that. My AAU team will be successful. I will send tons of girls to college, and they will come back and work in the same space so they can have the same impact on the young ladies coming behind them. And I'm just going to be the best mom I can be.
That's it.
And get Morgan to a place where she's confident, healthy, young lady and doing the things that she loves, whatever that is, even if it's not basketball.
I love it. That's so beautiful. Well, I thank you so much for your time. This is it's been an awesome episode. And yeah, I just look forward to seeing more. I'm glad I have the full story so I can watch it. I know how to watch things a little differently. Okay, that's what's really going on. It's awesome. And I think this is just like gonna be so much value to the end user. So I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna give you one.
I appreciate you.
Yes,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it.